Welcome to Another Comic, Another Podcast. I am your host, John Corelli. I am here with my friend Katie Bowman, who is performing at the Mercury tonight, where I will be hosting, and I'm looking forward to talking to her for a while. Want to talk about what you got coming up, or where would you like to go?
Oh my god, well thanks for having me. I'm down to talk about anything, really.
All right.
I'm
Well,
an open book, man.
I love it. I'm kind of the same way, so
Yeah.
let's talk. Well, I know I gave you a little preemptive question before we started
Yes.
to think about, which is who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of comedy?
Yes. Okay, so I've been sitting here trying to write out people who heavily influenced me. I feel like from my childhood, I would say obviously I was really heavily influenced by sketch comedians.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I started comedy anyway, with improv and then taking sketch classes.
Nice.
I was thinking I would do more of that, but then just along the way somebody was like, you are better at telling jokes, well, not better, but just they were you're really good at doing this, maybe you should lean more into it than you are,
Yeah.
And then I was kind of resistant for a little while because I was drinking the improv Kool-Aid.
I want to know the ingredients to that Kool-Aid.
I know.
The yes
So-
and Kool-Aid.
it sucks because I still stand behind it. It's super fun, but there's a lot of hard things with it too. So and I think that I wouldn't be as good at act outs or writing if I didn't take improv classes.
And that is an obvious thing that happens a lot with, especially locally here in Denver. There are a lot of comedians that have strengthened their comedy muscles through improv, which is something I'm scared to death of doing. Do you feel what's the Kool-Aid? Do you have to commit more to improv than stand-up?
I just really thought okay, you're gonna do improv and then you're gonna go move somewhere and get on a team in Los Angeles or Chicago or
Yeah.
New York, and then just and I when I was growing up I really loved SNL as well.
Yeah.
And so that was my goal, is a sketch show kind of thing, and it was it was actually harder in the improv community because you're with people that are also really driven, but then the other half of the people are this is my hobby. And so it's just really hard to be with a team of people trying to carry something through that's that different of goals.
That's true. It almost sounds like a wrestling team where who's really in this to forward everyone. But you're also often on that stage.
Yeah,
in a
and
sense, and
then-
you're on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this guy put his head under my dress.
Oh, geez.
On stage, and I just was that, and I've just had, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of improv men that ruin improv. The fucking women are amazing, and the non-binary LGBTQ people I meet, but there's been so many times where they just stomp on your ideas, or they turn you into a prostitute.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
And all this shit, and it's just with stand-up I don't have to deal with that. I have complete control.
That's true. Yeah, that is the nice thing, isn't it? Do you feel did you ever see the movie, and I forgot the name of it, with Mike Birbiglia in it, where it's an improv
Yes.
troupe, and I love that movie.
That's a really good example, I think,
Okay.
of how it, just different things can happen with it,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many groups and sketch groups I have started that failed, and it still happens, it happens with podcasts and even just my art side of everything, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel it just, that's all part of it. You gotta start things. Some of it will never make it to a finished thing.
Definitely. Yeah. It's we've really chosen to become part of a crazy community.
Yeah.
I got in a lot older, but so I can imagine. When did you start?
In 2014.
So you were around 30, or
Oh,
I'm sorry. I should know how old you are, and I probably hopefully didn't just make.
I
you
am
sound-
30 right now.
I apologize.
No, thank you.
And I know Brad just turned 30, so I should know. I should
Yeah.
have figured. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. It's okay. I'm not. It's fine.
So that's good. You were in your early 20s, 23 maybe when you started?
Yes, I was no, let's see, I was 2014, that would have been 25, wait, maybe.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Well,
something like that,
Yeah.
I'm like
23, 24.
I'm
Yeah,
really bad at math. That's what's happening right now. You just like might see me have a stroke.
Well, and plus it doesn't help when your dipshit host says, "Oh, you look 37." I don't think
I
that.
know. I was thinking about working it in my act literally as we were talking.
You should trash the host. It's always a good idea. And it actually, I don't. You know, it's funny. A lot of hosts get mad. I really don't, unless it's totally feels personal. But if
No,
it's
totally.
that where this guy thought I was this old, well, look at his ass. You know, let's.
No, it's just an easy joke to make.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you
It's
know.
good. It's good kickstart.
No one's
Definitely.
safe.
So let's. Oh, so where were you going with the first carving on Mount Rushmore? Was that you said?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I really loved Chris Farley growing up.
Yeah.
And like, let's see here. Also like, you know, like Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
And Chappelle Show. Like all that stuff was really good.
Yeah.
And then like even just like, okay, this is like so far back, but like all that was a sketch show when I was a
Yeah.
child. And like Keenan and Kel,
That's-
like all the like I loved all that stuff.
Well, and it's funny because people, I was way older when that stuff came out. I was
Yeah.
probably close to 30. But obviously, you know, Keenan is, what, 20 years into SNL now?
know,
I mean,
he
he's the
looks
longest.
The same.
He does.
You
He's
know what
aged
I mean?
really
You wouldn't
well.
even
Yeah.
be able to get. You would be so bad.
And-
You'd
and-
be like, "Are you 14?"
Exactly. He's got to be, what, 40? And
Yeah.
yeah, and then Kel Mitchell is, or did I get their last names mixed up. I should have, Keenan Thompson, and Kel Mitchell.
Yeah.
Kel still has a pretty good career from what I've seen. He does voiceovers on cartoons all the time.
Aw, that's good to know. I haven't like been able to see much.
Yeah, he's still
Someone
doing
told me
stuff.
he died, and I was like, "No, he
What?
didn't."
No.
I'm like, "What is up with that? Like, why?"
Just because your career
People
isn't
keep doing
what-
that.
yeah, it is
It
weird.
heavily happens to black actors too. And
Actually,
I'm like, "What is happening?"
Speaking of, you're gonna love this. When Richard Pryor, people thought he was dead around 2000.
Same thing with what's shit. I'm just completely spacing on. He has an amazing voice.
Stand up.
No. Bruce Almighty. He plays God.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Okay, people keep trying to say Morgan Freeman's dead, and I'm like,
No, he's
no,
not.
he's not. Yeah.
On Richard Pryor, he had a website that said, "I ain't dead yet, motherfucker."
I know. What
Because
the hell is
people
that?
would do research and then run into his website, and he's like, "No, I'm quite alive."
Yeah. No, people, and like, what is up with the like white image of like the Golden Girls? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, are they dead? Like, why don't we? Like, we just think they're. I don't even know.
I think they all are except for Betty White at this point.
Yeah.
But and
I know someone said they're all dead, and I was like, no, Betty White's still alive.
Yeah.
And I like went down that tunnel again too. I was like, what?
It is a weird, and the fascination with death may have grown with the internet because it's
Yeah.
so easy to find out anything on anyone.
I think people just can't believe actors can be in the biz for more than 10 years, you know?
That's true. Well, do you feel like careers are shortening and you got to more than ever strike while the iron's hot, or do you feel like you can still have a lengthy career?
I think I don't know, I feel like it can be so different for everyone. Some people might peak like they were in high school, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, you know? And then they die early, you're like, what?
Did you go to your 10th high school reunion?
No, I did not.
I think that's good advice. At 20, you might get curious. I will
Okay.
tell you that from personal experience.
That's so interesting. I really much hated a lot of people from my high school. And like I was cool with them, a lot of them, and they might have you know, people might have thought I was a loser too. You know what's funny is nobody I thought I was pulling the wool over everyone's eyes that I was like such a good student at school and I was not smoking weed, but everyone was like, no, we know you smoke weed.
Nice.
And so I was like, oh, okay. I feel seen, I guess. But, and so, I don't know. Wait, I lost track there. What was I talking about?
Your high school and just
Reunion. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And so, anyway, like, they're all Trump supporters now. And, like,
Yeah.
they're drinking that Kool-Aid. Oh, my God. And my ex-friend, like, they're all getting news from, like, TikTok and shit.
it's
This
frightening.
has been my argument with them. They're like, we're on the right side of history, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
No, you're
where do you
not.
get your news from? They're like, I talked to so many people. I just answered the question.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, NPR. Like, I'm just like
Yeah,
putting it in
yeah,
there.
exactly.
I put in lies my teacher told me. Like, and they're
Nice.
like, I'm never going to read that book. I'm like, this is the book you should be reading.
Exactly. Like, these are the people that think 1984 is propaganda. It's like, no, this is prehistory, based on real history. This is telling
Yeah.
me what is going to happen
They
quite
think
possibly.
like movies are like real, like there's not like a stage set. You know.
Did you go to high
don't-
school here in Colorado?
No, no. I went to. I mean, it is a purple state. I'm just like, really? That's a bold statement. My entire high school. Well, maybe like 10% are like not, but
Wow.
the rest were all red. So what
frightening.
it seems, there's a lot of people I don't even know anymore. That like there was 1,003 people from my graduating class.
Oh, that's a big one. I think. To me, that's
yeah.
big. Yeah. We had
It's,
like 200 at mine.
But I grew up in Dallas, in Plano, Texas.
Oh, yeah. Big city.
Oh yeah, and it was just like a little Republican factory. It feels like, you know,
Oh,
like you
quite
just
sure.
went through school and like. In my graduation, I was like walking on stage, and then they were already naming the other two people behind me when I was like
Oh.
grabbing my diploma.
Wow.
Like just
Cranking it out.
yeah.
Just okay. Here's another person for the mill. You know,
It's like a college graduation. You're just like, Jesus Christ, wait, this really doesn't feel that important anymore.
yeah. Here you go. Get
We're
off the
all
stage.
just on here. This feels like I'm at Disney World.
Yeah, but we're just
We're just waiting to ride the ride.
the work is the ride, but it's going to be the worst ride you've ever been on. It's
Yeah.
like Pirates of the Caribbean when it gets stuck. It's going to be terrible.
We gotta shake hands with some fart.
Yeah. It's always an old white guy.
Yeah.
I've never seen a
Great.
graduation where it's not an
You're
old
in-
white guy.
So wait, we're in Gen Z now, or is
Yes.
it still Gen Z?
As
It's
far-
graduating.
I think we're Z. I have a Z kid. I have a late millennial who was born 98. I think that's technically millennial.
Okay.
I have another kid who's born 2004. He definitely identifies as Gen Z.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure we're still in the Zs, maybe not much longer. Maybe we are on to the
Someone
next
just said,
one.
"Welcome to Gen Z." Is that a joke?
I have not heard about this.
And then
It-
everyone was laughing. It's so hard to tell what news
Well,
is
it
real. I
would,
just don't even.
it would make sense because if I mean they're trying to do it every 20 years, but it's pretty fluid.
Yeah. Gen Z for COVID. I'm like, that
Oh no,
sucks.
Jesus! That's great.
I
Well, why
mean, it
don't-
kind
well,
of gives you
should-
like a heads up, like the PTSD.
Should we
you
call?
know?
But then should we call Gen Z 9/11 because that was a hallmark right at the beginning of their generation?
I know, right?
The kids that are being born now are
They
not
don't
going to know
remember
about
it.
this. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting though.
They might. You don't know how long we'll be.
I'm
wearing
X,
masks.
and I am clinging to X because I feel like anyone born before 1980 has been labeled a boomer.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to. No, I'm not them. My parents were them. But there was a lot of overlap.
There is overlaps, and like, I mean, I still feel the same way about X and millennials.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially turn of the century. I mean, yeah, like my son who I told you was born in 98, he has no recollection. Neither does the other one. They're considered different generations, but
Yeah.
9/11 isn't going to affect either of them in any.
Yeah, that's a little different though, you know. That's gonna affect people who have a sense of belief system,
Yeah.
and that's where it should start. But I also think that a pandemic, these kids are they're being born alone, and there's just like certain key parts of like family
Yeah.
and raising a baby.
It's a really
they're
good
just
point.
so different.
Yeah, the socialization from an early age is not there for these kids. That's a
No.
really good point. Everyone talks
So-
about socialization in schools, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big one for babies.
Yeah, there's a lot of shyness in the babies that I've seen, and
That
like
makes sense.
it's like they're not being socialized
I
as
have
much.
never heard this point. Did you hear this somewhere, or is this all you? Because I have not heard I never thought about this.
Some of my friends have kids, and that's what they've been saying. But I also just kind of think like about how far back I've been going through this like whole anti-diet thing. But I've also gone to therapy for it, and like thinking back to how far back like diet culture was pressed upon me as a kid, and like I do see like, oh my god, like my mom would never say we could have these things and
Yes.
stuff like that. And it wasn't like she just wanted the best for me, but like there is a fear of fatness in America that is
yeah.
unhealthy,
Yes.
and like people just blame everything on it.
Yeah.
And like they treat it so bad, you know. And so I think back to that, and I'm like, yeah, with COVID, like these kids are gonna have other things they're gonna take into their adulthood.
That's a really good point, and especially when you think of the development of the infant brain.
Yeah.
What will these kids deal with that were born in 2020? It's a really good point.
Yeah.
By the way, I like that you were just talking about what you were talking about food-wise, and you have a shirt that has a slice piece that says, "You want a piece of me?" Pizza me. That's awesome.
Pizza me. I know, I loved this. I saw it at
It's a
Target,
great shirt.
I think. I can't remember.
Nice.
It was in a little kid section. I was like, you gotta have it.
You gotta have it. That's awesome. What else? So you got Farley. Who else?
Okay, so finally,
And it's okay. We don't have to have this as the topic. We can just. I always like. It seems like a good conversation continuum.
no,
though.
it's totally good. So we had Chris Farley, Eddie Murphy. I also grew up watching Lucille Ball. I actually just got a tattoo of her, which I'm very
Oh, that's
excited
awesome.
about.
Nice.
My tattoo artist was like, "Hey, do you want this tattoo? Like, I just need it for my portfolio. I won't charge you super expensive or anything." And so I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Nice. That's
And so they were like, "You don't even really have to pay me." I was like, "No, I'm gonna pay you."
It always feels like that's hanging over your head, no matter how well intentioned it is. It's like you provide a service. I have to pay you
Yeah,
for this.
well, and I'm so honored. It's gonna be for a magazine piece, so it's like
Oh yeah, nice.
that was always something I thought was cool as a kid growing up. And it's like, oh, cool, like
That's so great.
the most painful tattoo I've ever had.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
On my calf muscle.
Oh yeah, just that alone sounds bad.
I have
And
very
then-
muscular calves.
Well, and then the details of Lucille Ball's face, I can imagine. That took a while. How long did it take?
Probably. Okay, so they started at 4:30, and then I got out of there like at 7:30.
That's long.
Yeah.
That's, wow. Yeah, that's tough. I wonder if there's going to be a toughness component to your generation over mine. Because there are guys in my generation that got a ton of them.
Yeah.
But most of us have either very few or none. Your generation is way more tattooed, I think, than mine.
Yeah. No, it's true. I know my parents don't get it. I mean, my mom's probably gonna listen to this and be like, "Her beautiful body," and I'm like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't have fat shamed me," you know. But
For real? That's a thing, too.
but I also just feel like I like it. It makes me feel better about my body, and that's why I do it.
Good,
you know?
yeah. It's a canvas you got.
Yeah.
It's a natural
I also
canvas.
like to have other people's art on me as an artist. It's like
That's a
a
good
recycled thing. I know our
That's
bodies
really
are
cool.
just gonna decay into
Yeah.
nothing.
Or worm
anyway.
food. I'm sure that most comics
Are
kind
you
of look
gonna
at
be
it the way.
embalmed or are you gonna be worm food?
I plan on being worm food.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
what I want to do. I
Yeah.
want to be like 6 feet under.
Yeah, either in the ground or even cremated. I just want to take up the least
I heard
space I can.
cremation's actually just as bad for the environment.
That's
Isn't that crazy? But
well, the smoke maybe. I don't know. I mean,
I think it's the power that they
Oh, that
use,
makes-
but
yeah, you
it
need
also
it.
could be the carcinogens.
both of those make sense. Especially, I never thought about the flames that
There's
you
a
got
really
to
good
generate
TED
for
talk
that.
on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and how bad like just embalming and
Yeah.
like we're just put in like our bodies in a box probably would be fine.
Yeah. But then.
But like the box itself is cured and like
Yeah.
covered in paint and like toxins and stuff,
Yeah.
and then we're embalmed and filled with a bunch of chemicals and stuff. It's like the Earth is like, what the hell is this?
Exactly. It's just another pimple
like a
the
little
earth
oil
has to pop.
spill.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And I think. Do you consider yourself an atheist or agnostic,
Yeah,
or
I
where
think
are you
I'm
on that?
agnostic, but I also am really skeptical.
Because this seems to be an atheist tone of thought, at least,
Yes.
and I'm an atheist, and I'm like, I love the thought of me feeding the earth.
Yeah,
The earth
well,
fed
me
me.
too.
I've had this amazing life. I've been very fortunate. Okay, that's the ultimate way of giving
Yeah.
back at the end.
It's so interesting. I studied like a little bit. I was an art history major and a studio art major, so I studied a lot of ancient civilizations and pre-Columbian cultures and all that.
Nice.
And they talked about like when I learned about how like all these pre-Columbian cultures were sacrificing and what the sacrifices meant and the gods that it created. And I was like, man, that is such like a clean cut giving back to the world
Yeah.
view, even though we consider it barbaric. But then, I was reading that book, Lies My Teacher Told Me,
Yeah.
and he talks about how when like pilgrims came to America, they were writing things about indigenous people being like they are their beliefs are a little bit fairy tale-ish. And he was like, says the people that
said the Catholics,
believe in like
especially.
a 3-part body of
Yes,
God
exactly.
and a virgin got pregnant and like all this crazy and like the oceans can split. Like this, it's just as crazy.
Exactly. It's just not
And
they're crazy.
people die all the time. Women are completely objectified in that book. And it's just interesting because I'm like, it's more hateful than that.
Oh,
you know, like the Mayans,
absolutely.
like they said that if you were picked to be sacrificed, and this is in a lot of cultures, it was considered shameful to act out in like fear.
Yeah.
And like it's just a whole different way of looking at it. Like you're just completely giving yourself up to something, but that's also all you know.
Good point.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
Also
true.
studied Pompeii.
Oh, nice.
This is an interesting fact. So Pliny the Elder is the one that was like writing about it all because he could see it. And he wrote a boat towards it because he thought it was God like raining down.
Oh, wow. Ugh.
But it's so interesting because like that's your reality at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that's true. I mean,
There's
when
no skepticism.
I should know when Pompeii happened. Was it the 1100s? I forgot.
All I know is it was like I think the 26th or the 23rd of August. I
Nice.
could be wrong. I haven't.
Is it near your birthday? Is that why it's significant?
No, I just saved it on my phone because I'm a nerd. Let me see if I got it right.
And while you're doing that, I will tell you also, I was a history major. I have my degree in history with a minor in political science. So we're going to see some cool stuff together here
Oh
on
my
this
god, I was
little
so
journey.
close. August 24th.
Nice. Did it say what year?
August 24th, 7980.
790?
After death, baby.
Wow. That was like 400 years off. Okay.
I know, like you're
Uh,
just like, God is coming down.
Yeah, seriously.
If you study, it's fast. Okay, I don't know why, but I like the way that people are obsessed with like murder, which I'm also one of those people. But like, the way that they're into that, I am into like also like historic tragedies and
Yeah.
stuff, travesty, and like all these like horrible things that happen, especially like natural disasters, because like it just sounds so
Do you... go ahead, I'm sorry.
chaotic. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like you
well,
just your whole life just
And when
ends.
life expectancies are maybe in your 40s, maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know. Where you can go, okay, you know what, this life sucks.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to walk towards God, even if maybe that's not real, but
Yeah.
I've been told it's real, so I'll go towards it.
Yeah.
It is a crazy, you know, just the world we've built for ourselves to me is.
No, it's crazy.
pretty
Well, you know
amazing.
William Montgomery.
I know the name, but
He was like really crazy. He's like famous now. He's been
I know
on
the name. It's
Kill
bugging me.
Tony. He started here, or no, yeah, he started in Tennessee, but he's been here.
Okay.
And he was in New York for a little bit, but he moved to Los Angeles and he just got super famous. But
Nice.
it's so funny, like I got to know him really well when he was in town, and I like just he was like, I believe in God. He was like telling me this, and I just if you've met him, that's very surprising. But then I was like, no way, and he's like, Katie, I'm serious. If you don't believe in Jesus, like I'm gonna be so upset for you. And then, but like, so this guy lives like he's gonna die tomorrow because he doesn't believe, or no, he believes in God.
So now is his feeling, because I have a pretty strong Christian kid at work. I call him a kid because he's 23. But
Yeah. Well, you know, he probably hasn't given it up yet either.
No,
Just
and
kidding.
it feel. I don't think he has, but I don't think he has.
Yeah, you're like, have you fucked yet? No, I'm just kidding.
No, honestly, it's really hard not to do that when he's getting a little righteous. I
Oh
want to
my
kind of
God.
throw it at him, but he's a nice
Okay.
person. But he obviously has this very strong set of beliefs,
Yes.
and but he is one of those guys that when people die, I'm happy for them because I know they're going to heaven. Wow, great to have that slant on that conviction.
Yeah.
Because
No.
and do you think William Montgomery had that same feeling?
Yeah, like he kind of, and we talked about it, and like I was like, I can respect, you know, I'm not gonna disrespect somebody, but I think it is interesting because you do live your life in a different
Yeah.
cadence. I feel like I'm trying to suck out every moment of it because it's just gonna turn off one day.
Exactly. The lights just go out in our world. That's it.
Yeah, and then for them though, it's like this is just like getting me going. But I also think what a sense of pride to be like I'm going to heaven. Like there's I think part of my faith that fell apart because I was raised Catholic, and then my
Oh,
whole
yeah.
family, you know, My parents were like kind of fed up with the priests, and thank God they have a brain.
Yeah, that is helpful, honestly, because so many people just the ability of people to look away from that situation hurts my head.
It does. It's like really upsetting. It was actually really bad in the East Coast too.
Yeah,
It was just weird. You'd think, I'm sure it's terrible
Well,
in the South and everything too, but like,
there's
my parents have like a Philadelphia.
there's a
has, like,
certain cultism for Catholicism in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Boston, New York Catholics.
Yeah.
I'm an original Italian New York Catholic, baptized. Luckily, my parents got. You rarely hear the word luckily.
I had communion.
Of course. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that far along in the program, and I'm glad I didn't. My mom gave me a choice when I was like 6 or 7. She's like, "These are the choices I've made. I will not hate on you for the choices you make, but these are the reasons I've made these choices."
Yeah.
I was like, I can't really argue with that logic to not believe. We did Unitarianism
Yeah,
for a while,
totally.
but the program went from Catholicism and Unitarianism to straight up atheism pretty quickly.
Yeah, totally. No, and have you ever read anything? Oh man, I'm just spacing on his name now too. It's the author of The Power of Myth and
No, it's not. Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell. That's
I
right.
haven't read him since college, and I still have 2 of his books on my bookshelf.
He's
I need
Catholic,
to.
yeah, and he's
Oh.
super atheist, but like he talks about why myth helps us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so that's interesting, and I
Yeah.
did study a lot of religions because it just goes in hand with all the art stuff. And so I can see, and then I took a Buddhism class, which I also thought was like the coolest one.
Nice. Yeah.
But I was like, wow, there's so much to take from all of it, but then it gets weird, you know? It's like culty.
It really is. And I have the most respect for Buddhism because of the way that they expect you to live your life, or at least, and also no creator God is helpful.
Yeah.
So I do like, if there's any that I respect, it's Buddhism by far, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many. There's probably better ones out there if you found some small tribal ones maybe, but
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing religion, and I think most people that are in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's let's see, where did I want to go? Oh, we're doing pretty well. This is good conversation. Comics can talk, you guys. That's what we do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, get us on religion. We go all night. So, do you want to talk about Brad and how you guys met, or?
Sure.
'Cause-
Brad is my boyfriend, and we met almost 4 years ago. Actually, it probably was around 4 years ago because we started dating like really soon after we met. But
Nice.
and it'll be 4 years of dating in like June.
Yeah.
But so, I met him at open mics. He just started going up again, and I didn't know who
I was
he
going to say that was part of the Bring Back Galley movement, right?
That's what I heard. I was like, who is this guy? He like gets women. And then,
I did not know that.
oh yeah, he like did a really funny joke about.
Oh, he like understands women. When you said
Yeah.
gets women, I was like, this guy's swimming in tail.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think people probably think he's cute, but they're also like he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't give off the vibe that he's just nailing everybody.
Like yes. Totally. He's a more monogamous man.
Yeah.
But so I just really liked his joke. It was about how he's in love with baristas because they have to be nice to you. You should ask yourself if there's a cash register between you and the woman,
That's great.
because then it's just their job to be nice to you. And like, I just thought it was really funny. And then the time I was like just trying to like casually hook up with some dudes in the scene, and they were like really assholes.
Yeah.
But it was just like who I knew, and it was still around the time when I was like having to do like a million mics to get booked, you
Yes.
know. And so, so I was just fed up with that, and then I like was like, I'm gonna go ask Brett Kelly for if he wants to drink like tonight at El Trito. And so I walked up to him, and he was like, yeah. And then we like spent the night talking at the bar,
Nice.
and then we went home together.
That's great. That's often the way it goes.
Yeah.
I think you meet really great people either through a shared hobby or passion or work. That's how I met my ex-wife, but we were together nearly 20 years and it worked out really well. And you have those long talks, and then you go home and you see if that component goes well, and they're like, oh, okay, this could go somewhere. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
When we say Brad, by the way, Brad is the headliner tonight. Katie will go up, Brad will go up. He is a local comic here in Denver. He's great too.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think of something else. I mean, there's always stuff to talk about.
I don't know. I know you were talking about, you wanted to talk about my job at Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, I mean, if it came up, it's
Yes.
totally your call. Well,
No, that's totally fine.
well, I kind of maybe I could set it up this way, where I was telling you about a movie I haven't seen. I've seen a review of it called Unplanned,
Yes.
and where it's just a horrific portrayal of Planned Parenthood. The woman goes in, she works there, and she sees all these unscrupulous things going on, and they're doing abortions for the profit of
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood, even though it's a non-profit organization if you do the most scant of research.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. How long have you been there?
About 5 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Yeah, I got the job through Miriam Marino, who's another comic.
Oh, yes.
And then it's just weird because we get like emails about that stuff, and like there's like, just so you know, there's another new film out, or we got a gift basket, it's from the pro-life.
Oh.
Like we get a lot of stuff like that, and I think they just really think they're helping us, but they're not. And so it's such a small part of it daily for my job. I don't work at a clinic where there's always protesters, but we just started actually doing abortion care this past fall. And so now there's been like some out there.
Wow.
But it's crazy.
So for you personally, are you all like, because I don't know what it entails to work there. If there's just like a medical side and then there's like counseling side or an advisory side, or do you do a little bit of everything? What does your job entail, like on a daily?
I have like specific certification through the agency, and I don't know how it works. But so I do phlebotomy, injections, sexual education, basic like dispensing medications,
Okay.
cleaning the clinic, running controls in the lab, and drawing up labs and stuff like that as well,
Nice.
and like check-in.
So you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, and it doesn't really pay that well because it's a non-profit, so I'm like
Yeah.
looking for other jobs. Just that pays same, and it's like receptionist at a dermatology office, and they're like, I recently heard back, and they were like, we are gonna go with someone who just might be a little more qualified. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm doing more than the front desk, but I'm doing it.
5 years.
Yeah.
That just the fact that you're staying someplace, anywhere, any job, 5
Yeah.
years should give you an in.
I know, it's just crazy.
That's
So,
frustrating.
but we'll see. I don't even know if I want to be like it's funny. My mom's like, it's such a shame that the skill set like that you have is so good, but like you don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, yeah, like I don't really want to be the main person that has to like help people take care of their own lives.
Yes, that's because there's a huge responsibility to that, even
Yeah.
if it's a marginal.
It just gives me anxiety.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's kind of frightening. Now, back to the religion. Is your mom still a practicing Catholic, or did she?
I think she's like she might believe in a God or something, but she's not practicing Catholicism. She's more like she does her own prayers and like just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with. That's more on my grandmother's. She died a while ago, but that I get. I'm really glad there's a pressure there that I don't enjoy. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you feel like most of your family, like outside? Do you have brothers and sisters? I didn't ask.
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
We I think my brother's trying to like raise them lightly, his kids lightly with some religion, and then my sister is not. And I think I don't know. If you want to, I just think it's interesting because I'm like, I probably wouldn't either.
It almost feels like a social experiment.
Yeah.
Like the sister's doing this and the brother's doing this. And let's see how the kids turn out.
Yeah.
It is an interesting, I got even strangers will chime in on it. Because when I was in Cleveland and Dante was like a toddler, because that's where he was born, I worked in a movie theater, and I got to know the customers pretty well. And I go, oh, yeah, how's the baby? And I was like, oh, he's doing great. You're going to teach him about God and religion, right? And I don't plan on it. I plan on letting him have his choice in that matter. Oh, well, he probably won't turn out that great. I'm like, this is all about the parents.
Yeah.
This is him believing or not believing in God has nothing to do with how well he's going to turn out.
No, not at all.
It was really frustrating too. I was like, I'm sorry, this is not for you to really weigh in on at all.
Yeah, I didn't ask.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you asked me and I gave you an answer. Now you're not happy with that answer.
Yeah.
But so what do you, and this is no pressure. I always feel weird asking, when you and Brad think about the future, do you think about having kids? Would you rather
Sometimes.
not?
It's like off and on. I mean, we need money. That's
Yes.
the main thing.
Yeah, you really do.
And like, I feel like we could get better and pull it off, but it also just seems so exhausting to me, especially with all the other things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm ready to give up my personal space.
And that's good. And unfortunately, that always makes the best type of parent is the person who is kind of selfless and would think of the kids first. We have way too many people going,
Yeah.
oh, well, oh yeah, I can handle these kids, and then they don't want to give up anything. And there you go. So that's good that I figured you'd be in that mindset. That's great.
Yeah.
It's tough. And plus, I mean, I know this is a cliche, but the world, it's hard to sometimes not feel guilty about bringing a life onto this planet.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. My kids are 23 and 16, and I'm still like, man, sorry. Sometimes, like, sorry that you got to think about Proud Boys and global warming and all these other
Yeah,
things.
totally.
Just you got to, it's brutal, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I also try to go, hey, I was raised in the 80s, and we thought we were all going to die of AIDS or nuclear holocaust. So there's always
funny.
something bad.
Yeah, there's always something. It's so true.
Here's something. Do you remember your first joke you tried on stage?
Oh my god.
Or an early one that was successful, maybe?
My mom gave me, when I went to college, she gave me like a package, and it had this like alarm. If I were to get assaulted, you just pull the alarm out. And it has like a keychain, it sets off an alarm. And I thought it was funny because I was like, what is this gonna do for me? And so I used to pull that out and be like, great, Mom, like that's gonna help me. And then I think I lost it or something. But it also, I just don't know. You can put it right there if that's okay.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
That looks
Thank
good.
you so much.
In case we didn't make it clear, we're at the Mercury Cafe, so sometimes some food or drinks come along. You might hear the jazz in the background, but yeah, we love it here. We'd love to have you here. Where were we?
Oh, no, totally. I know, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. No, dude, you're a
I-
polite person.
No, I just started eating. God, where were we? So,
I lost track too. We're on kids in the world, and then
having kids, starting the future. I know, I have no idea where we went.
It's all right. Maybe we'll think. Your jokes. The alarm joke.
Yeah. That was my first joke. And then, and so I did enjoy doing it, but I don't know. I just wasn't structured that well. I feel like I could even bring it back now, but it's just. That was probably the first one. And I had some jokes about being ADHD, which I still use sometimes.
Nice.
Just because I feel like I jump into crazy different places all the time.
Well, and those are so relatable, especially I think even more to your generation than mine. Although we had our share of ADHD kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, that relatability is huge.
Yeah.
Being funny is huge, and I've really enjoyed watching people that are way younger than me do so well at it and commit to it. I didn't start till I was 41. Didn't have time to commit or really even get good. I got lucky and got this room, but it's just I love watching you guys do it. It's because it's just enjoyable for me. I get to watch a show for free, so
Absolutely.
it's good stuff.
I love this place too. It's so cute.
Well, I think we're closing in on 45 minutes. We're at 40 minutes. That might work. Your
Whatever- and,
food's
like,
here.
Yeah, no pressure. I'm totally okay.
And where are we on? Let's see. We should hopefully have people coming soon. Yeah, should we just
Yeah.
call it and let you eat?
Absolutely.
And hopefully
No
and
problem.
you'll be performing soon. Brad will be here soon. Hopefully we'll have some
Yeah.
fun. I guess that's it. Thank you,
Thank
Katie.
you for having me.
I
I'm
appreciate
excited to
it.
perform.
Yeah, thank you. Katie Bowman, she was great. That was a fun 40 minutes. Once again, John Corelli, another comic, another podcast, and hope to see you guys, talk at you guys soon.
Woo.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you. I loved it.